I want to do something different. Perspective for people. It's time for the people to really get to know me. The real me. The one behind the mask. We spend too much of our time judging people, making assumptions. Today, I want to put an end to all of that. How important to you is it to connect with other people in regards to just 2023, right? Because if you look at the way the world is now, and if you're watching the news, you see there's just constantly a increase of violence and just different things that's going on that's kind of just out of whack. How do you feel about, just meeting new people? Do you think that it's necessary? Do you think that it's kind of one of the reasons why things are kind of getting worse? Or
I mean, we're human beings, always need to be social,
Right.
I think it's important to, to some level, be interacting with other people. But I mean, it depends on there's, extrovert folks and introverts who just don't, just like to be with themselves. There's nothing wrong with that. I guess it depends on the personality.
Right.
Some people feel comfortable with other people. Some people, I have friends who just can't be by themselves. They just need interactions. They're always talking to somebody. And some others are just like, hey, I'm just cool by myself.
Right.
I'll see you next month. So.
Right.
So yeah, it depends. And for me, I'm kind of both. Like sometimes I want my time alone and just doing my thing, and sometimes I'm just like I need people. Like I want to go and meet new folks. I like to travel, so that's when you travel, so you get to meet all kinds of people.
Right.
And that helps. Like you make connections, you get to learn about the place, about the culture, the people, everything. So you make friends. Yeah. So for me, I like meeting people, but there are people also who really out there easygoing and interact a lot, and then once they get a girlfriend, you just never see them again.
Yeah.
They change, right?
Yeah.
And nothing wrong with that. So I mean, some people just like to settle down at some point, but yeah, it just depends. I think that's the environment, the people around you. Like in DC, it's easy to, like if you want to connect, you have people. You can just go out to a bar or something and just meet people.
Right. So I'm glad you said that, because I did a live on introverts versus extroverts a while back, and me and my co-host, our perception on it was totally different.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my stance on it was, just because a person is introverted doesn't mean that they're antisocial.
Right.
It could be a number of factors that play into it.
Mm-hmm.
And his stance on it was, well, if you're so quiet and standoffish, it gives off the impression that you could be up to something, or you have like some things going on mentally that would make people nervous around you. So I think there's a fine line between what he's saying and what I'm trying to say. Whereas for me personally, I'm an introvert, but I can communicate with anybody. It just depends on the energy and the vibe that I get from you. We analyze people. We kind of want to gauge where we are with our audience, versus what he's kind of saying is, well, if you're just quiet, then you're going to shoot up a school, or
Yeah, no, I disagree. Though it's a lot of people need a safe place to, you know, or trust people, you know, to open up.
Right.
So, I mean, sometimes if I don't feel like talking, I mean, it's not like, you know, even extroverts sometimes it'd be like, you know, if they don't feel comfortable, they're not gonna talk. Some people are shy; they don't like public speaking in front of people.
Right.
Maybe different settings would help. You know, if you meet somebody in a crowd, it would be different when you meet them, you know, in a small group or one-on-one. So,
Right.
So I could see that, yeah. I see, yeah. So it doesn't really. So if an introvert doesn't mean you don't want to connect and you don't want to talk to other people. You want to do your thing, but you also want to be, you know, you choose when to talk to people.
Right. So if you could give anyone advice who, you know, may have an issue with breaking the ice, you know, what would you tell them?
I think a lot of people just don't like rejection, you know.
Yeah.
And that's normal. I mean, a lot of, you know, I mean, especially growing up as a kid, you know, a lot of people have a hard time making friends. And it doesn't really. Eventually, when you learn that it's okay to be rejected, and that's all in your head. It's not really being rejected. It's just like sometimes you fit in with certain people, sometimes you don't.
Right.
I don't. You know, if you feel like, for example, if you try to talk to a girl somewhere, a lot of guys would feel intimidated. You know, like, oh, she's pretty. You know, she would never talk to me. I would never be able to take her home. This and that. It's just all in the head. Like, if they try, they don't have to force it, you know. Doesn't mean like, okay, go, I'm gonna force myself on this person or whatever. But you just go with the flow.
Right.
And it works out.
This is Deep HP Melvin here with
Corey.
Nice to meet you again,
Nice to meet you.
officially.
Yeah.
So, I just wanted to ask you, how do you feel about 2023? When you hear the term modern, what do you think about?
If I hear the term what?
Modern. Like modern society.
Modern? I mean, there's a lot of growth, but there's, you know, modern is like, I guess I would say that there's good and there's bad when it comes to modern.
Right.
There's the growth, the buildings going up, but that's also hurting our air.
Right.
There's good people, there's bad people. That comes and goes and grows as we go.
Definitely.
However they hurt people or how they help people.
Yeah.
And it's technology and all that, so that's modern.
Right. I actually heard on the radio the other day that the emissions of carbon monoxide that's being put into the air, if it doesn't, you know, decrease. It's only going to get worse.
Well, you notice we don't have a fall or spring anymore, right?
Yeah.
That's the global warming effect because of the emissions.
Absolutely.
As we don't have a fall. It's always super hot and then super cold and then super hot.
Yeah.
We don't have that nice in-between time of the fall and the spring anymore.
Right. Do you think that we care enough about our environment as we should? I mean,
No.
yeah,
90% of people on this planet do not give a shit.
that's a fact. Yeah.
They don't care. They litter. They get the biggest, loudest vehicle, whether it's diesel or not. They don't care about emissions.
Right.
And we're trying. Everyone is trying to go, hey, pay attention, our Earth is dying. And they're like, yeah, screw that. As long as I can live the way I want, I'm okay.
Exactly.
One thing.
And it's normal to be nervous. Like it's I mean, everybody, you know, at some point, whether, you know, work or talking to people or, you know, it's a lot of people just, it's normal for them to be nervous. So there's nothing wrong with that.
I think what has been helping me is just jumping out, just going.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let the nervousness or the anxiety overrule your just go for it. And whatever happens out of it, at least at the end of it, you know that you just broke a habit. You broke a fear. You
Right, exactly. And you know, it helps if you if you want to talk to someone or connect to people, and you're with one or two people or a group that you know already. I think it helps to give you that courage that you need.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they back you up, if something happens. It's just a mental thing. It's nice to have a group with you sometimes, versus going alone somewhere and trying to talk to somebody.
Right.
Just like, we have people who are completely fine going to a restaurant, sit alone and have a nice dinner by themselves, and people who feel awkward. Same way.
Definitely. A couple of things helped me along the way. The fact that I started maybe 3 years ago doing open mics on IG because I'm a poet. So I started doing open mics on there, and I started interviewing people. And what I found was the more comfortable I got engaging with my audience, the more comfortable it made me be able to be myself.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of the problem is people are afraid to be themselves.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah. You have to pretend to come out of somebody else, or that's always a problem. It's hard. That's a very hard thing to do, because you're trying to fit in somewhere.
Yeah.
You don't want to be the odd guy, so that's the key. I think even extroverts, they always pretend that they're somebody a lot of the time, and it's not easy for them to be themselves all the time. It's they could be themselves with maybe one or two of their friends that they're comfortable with, but not with everybody else.
Yeah.
So
There's always that risk of being too vulnerable, and I feel as if that's a huge problem with communication and with people, creating certain spaces that could be healthy, because you want to pretend to be something that you're not.
Yeah.
So you end up doing things that's going to be more hurtful than helpful.
Right.
Whether it's through business or it's in your personal relationships,
Yeah, what you just said, space. It's important if you want to connect or just be yourself. I think it's important to find space that's where you feel comfortable with yourselves and with other people. And that's really tough. You need to find the right group and the right place and this and that. But the way to do that, the way to get into it, is just throwing yourself out there.
Right.
For example, if you travel, you're not gonna meet people, you're not gonna do anything unless you actually go somewhere. And the same one with people. I think people would feel more safe at least. If they're in an environment where they feel comfortable. If there's a place where they're in a place where they could talk about something they're knowledgeable of. It'd be easier. But if you go to like a conference or a meeting or a party that you don't know anybody, you just intimidate. Just people feel like, oh, okay, I'm out of place.
Yeah.
It could be tough. It could be hard. But what you said it's true. You just throw yourself out there. There's really, that's part of the adventure. You never know what's gonna happen. Like sometimes it's just like, oh crap, I should have done that, or it's like, damn, that was pretty cool. Like he did,
Right.
There's no bad side. It's all mental. It's all in your head. But that's tough. That's it's hard to get over certain things if you grow up like being an introvert and not comfortable talking to people and things like that. And that's not a bad thing. It's just personality, just different kind of personalities. Nothing.
I like the phrase adventure, because it kind of really is, especially we're all individually on different paths.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen different things. We've experienced different things. How we get to certain places is totally different. Some might be similar in some ways, but
I mean, you could always make connection with people if you want it to be. You know, there's always a connection in terms of, you know, it's just different experiences, but you can always, it doesn't, you don't have to relate to somebody to connect.
Right.
So that's the thing with, you know, it's you just, if you feel like you're part of a community or you want to explore something else, then it's a little challenge at the beginning, but once you get in, it's an easy piece of cake. If you're comfortable with yourself, if you're comfortable with other people, you're good to go.
definitely,
And it just boosts your confidence.
yes, it does. Yes, it does. I'm a testimony of it. The more and more I do this, it gets easier.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you. You know.
No worries, no problem. What's your name? Mel.
Mel.
Is it Mel?
Yep,
Okay.
yep. Do you have any social media or anything that you?
Yeah, I have Instagram or just Instagram. I just post my dog's photos, but yeah.
Okay, no problem. What's your?
Here, you have a.
You can just say it.
Sapphire Aussie.
Tell you that's right.
Sapphire like the stone.
Okay.
And Aussie like Australian. AUSSIE.
Gotcha.
Sapphire Aussie.
All right. Just your opinion.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about social media, as far as its positives and its negatives, and its impact?
Well, number one for kids, you know, kids pick it up quick. You know, these young minds now, they pick technology is their second brain. So, and you know, that could expose them to a lot of stuff, negative stuff. It's good for marketing, business. Like, how would you control that? You know, it's kind of like you can't. So yeah, it has its pros and its cons. You know.
Rejection is one of the main reasons why we tend to refrain from putting ourselves out there with other people.
Right. It is rejection, fear, and for me, it's like I hate failing in anything that I do. So it's like if I know I'm not, if I think I'm not gonna succeed in something, I don't even bother taking the risk. And in life, to succeed, and I feel like that's one of the things I need to overcome in life. In order to succeed, you have to take risk. That a lot of people, like myself, are afraid of taking risk. Just because they're afraid of failure or rejection.
Right. I'm literally out here, you know, trying to communicate with people just on some regular hello, and you'll be surprised at how many people look at you weird and funny because
they're not used to it. Everybody's so slave, and if you pay attention, most of these people were just on our phone like this, just texting, you know, but not really interacting in person. Like everything is done for the media, not for the moment. Like if I go to the club and I'm having mad fun with my girls, turn the hell up.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna mean mug you like, look at how they're acting, but they're busy posting everything online and not really having fun, you know.
Exactly.
So I feel like that took a huge toll on the culture.
Exactly.
Even though some posts might be good, people post anything. You know, like a baby doing something and it's kind of funny, like Instagram. You know, my wife, she always behind her. I say that. You spend too much time on that.
How do you feel about social media in 2023? Do you feel like it's making it harder for people to interact with each other now?
Well, no, they interact. It's not making it harder. It's not making it harder, but it sure is a source of a whole lot of confusion.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about? It's not harder to interact. It's just how they are interacting. There's so much negativeness going on. There's just so much negative stuff going on.
If there was anything that you would want someone to hear that needed to hear it right now, for whatever reason, what would that message be?
that no matter what you're going through, what you've been through, you are a good person and you deserve the best.
And I'll leave you with that. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it. And I hope you have a beautiful weekend.
Oh, I'm trying to. As long as I can get out of this heat.